Welcome to Looking Through Purple Glasses. Here's your host, Laura Levy.
Hey, thanks, Mosier. Today is exciting episode number 11, and I am so happy and honored to have Marty Richardson in today from DAWG Nation. Marty, how are you?
I am good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming out this way. I greatly appreciate it. I know your big annual golf trip is coming up on Monday, so I know there's a lot of running around going on right now, so I really appreciate you taking a few minutes to come by and record the podcast today.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. And from here, headed over to University of Denver, and David Carl's going to be signing a few things for Monday night.
Oh, that's awesome. Everybody that listens knows that I'm a CC girl, but I like DU if they're not playing CC.
Yeah,
So we met through Peter Harnish at Northwestern Mutual. And I was talking to Peter about maybe what the next generation of my life when I decide that I don't want to do mortgages every day was going to look like. And he knows how much I enjoy throwing parties and planning events and raising money for charities. And I know so many of our listeners have had the opportunity to come to what was a charity event that I did all the way up until the pandemic for 10 years. And I just love it. I just really love it. I can't really say anything more about it. So Peter said, you definitely have to meet my friend Marty. And so we had coffee. It's been probably 6 weeks or 8 weeks ago now, and just decided that, I would become a ambassador for DAWG Nation and try and do some fundraising. But I wanted to have you in today to kind of explain to everybody what is DAWG Nation, who's Marty, and how did Marty form DAWG Nation?
Yeah, so there's a lot there. But
I know.
So DAWG Nation started on easy to remember on 1/1/11, January 1st, 2011. And it really started as a beer league hockey team that I was a captain on. And in 2009, February 2009, in a 3-day period, or not 3 day, 7-day period, we had not one, not two, but 3 of our players all were diagnosed with some sort of cancer. And this is only 16 players on a team. So kind of amazing and crazy that happened to one team all at the same time. And each time I would literally and figuratively pass my hat around the room and we'd raise a couple bucks and go visit either Danny or Dave or Andy in the hospital. And it wasn't that we gave them $250. It was that the fact that they had guys that cared for them, and those guys battled through it. And Andy actually, not once, not twice, but 3 times stage 4 colon cancer survivor.
Wow.
And these guys are all playing today, which is really, really cool. And all part of what we are. But that same exact year in 2009, late in the year, 4th guy on the team got sick, and we thought, man, how can we have another guy with cancer? But it turned out Jack Kelly ended up with an autoimmune disease that took his life 6 months later. And when that happened, it was really impactful for me. First time I'd lost a close friend in my life, and Jack was very much like me. We had very similar lives, and at that time I said he had 3 daughters and I have 3 daughters, and said to those 3 daughters after I spoke at the funeral, I want to do something in your dad's honor. I don't know what it is, but I want to do something. And a few months later, we started this thing called DAWG Nation Hockey Foundation. And it was designed really just to raise a little bit of money and help a family here and there in Jack's name. And we didn't expect it ever to take off. And unbelievably now, nearly 15 years later, we've given away over $5 million to families in need. Yeah. And the event that you mentioned that we'll be doing after, like, it will have already happened after we've done this podcast, but it's our 2nd largest event, but we bring in quite a bit of money per year, probably in the range of around $1 million a year now.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I know we're recording this a couple days before the golf tournament. And so the golf tournament's coming up on the 9th. But that golf tournament is almost automatically sold out every year just because so many people are on board and participating, and businesses coming back every year and asking to be a part of it. So it's one more demonstration about how hockey is keeping us together. And some of the events of the last week with losing Johnny Hockey and bringing it really back, that hockey really does bring a lot of people together and kind of takes care of each other. And that's what I really love about DAWG Nation and why I wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And so about 15 years. And I know that you've got some corporate sponsors that work with you. So big shout out to Becky Gartman and Scott Pantel, two very good friends of mine that are also really, really big favorites of you and DAWG Nation. And I really wanted to talk about how people can help too.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people in my network that love the game of hockey and this isn't something that, you can love baseball too and still be a supporter of DAWG Nation. But, I know that you've gotten some really good support from some past players too. I know Milan Hayduk is a big supporter of DAWG Nation. Sammy Girard. I know Coach Bednar is a big supporter. And you do so much more than just raise money and write checks.
Yeah.
So I see you at the hospitals and I see you meeting with families and I see you traveling to Canada and I see you traveling to Europe. And so I know that this is a life passion of yours and that it's not just the monetary piece of being able to help a family with hospital bills and expenses, but also your caring and your support of those family members in what could be like the most challenging time of their life.
Yeah, it's the best part of this in reality. And it's interesting that you just brought that up because as I was in your parking lot waiting to come in, I was talking to a lady named Emily that just came here from South Carolina and she doesn't know it, but I'll be handing her a check for $20,000 after this podcast.
Wow.
And her son Gunnar has a disease called pandas, and it's very rare, so rare that there's no place to be treated in South Carolina, so they have to bring him to Children's in Colorado.
Wow.
And ironically, so he's a huge little hockey fan. He's only 7 years old, and I get to meet him, and
Awesome.
I've never met either one of them, and this will be something that we kind of put together. And I found out that his favorite player is Connor McDavid, so I'm working on Connor through my network to actually do a video for this little boy. So those are kind of there's no monetary value there, but
the impact is
the
tremendous.
impact's incredible. Yeah, and it's really the coolest part. Throughout DAWG Nation, I got a couple nicknames, but one of them the Dog Father, the other one Cappy, and Cappy as in being the captain. But we call these Cappy's magic moments, and the checks are really, really important. But honestly, the support and the one-offs like this are equally, if not more important for when we see the recovery and people getting through those really difficult, challenging stages of their lives.
And, we know because we're so embedded in the hockey world that hockey players, and I'm not taking away from any other sport here, I think they have the biggest hearts in sports.
Yeah.
I, over the years, have had the ability to meet many of the players through my charity events and through other things. And I've never had them tell me no, and their time is so taken, not only during the season, but even in the off seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, Cale Makar just got married. So it's like he had a whole wedding to take care of in the 3 or 4 months that they were off. But, we would really like to see a little more involvement from some of the players around the entire league. So my friends that are listening here today, if you have any connections or any friends in the NHL, the AHL, let's connect. We'd love to spread this out, DAWG Nation kind of around through the NHL. There's lots of charities and there's lots of really great places that hockey players and people that are donating money are donating. So we're not trying to take the place of anybody, but we just think there's plenty of room out there for us as well.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that one then. And I'd throw also in NCAA because we got a lot of CC and DU players that are involved with us, and even some of the kids that played at Humboldt that are now in other one of them at St. Lawrence this year that has is going down his first year on a scholarship from DAWG Nation.
Amazing.
And so, but really, like, that's a really good point, because what we do, we have several players throughout the NHL, not just Avalanche players.
Sure.
That
I know Matt Duchene is a big supporter.
Yeah,
so
is Clayton Keller. And, and these guys, they'll donate every time they score a goal.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And there's coaches, Jim Montgomery, David Carl, Jared Bednar, Scotty, was blanking on his last name, but all donating every time their team wins.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
amazing.
that's huge too. So there's like, and if we can continue that momentum and get it throughout the league, that generates quite a bit of money and helps quite a few families if we're able to do that.
Yeah. And your background as I want to get the title right, CPA.
CPA is correct.
Okay, perfect. There's a lot of those there's a lot of those name tags out there, and I like to make sure that I get them right. Very detailed with the ins and outs and making sure that everything that comes out is getting used to the best of the abilities. Everything that you get is donated, which is also a really big thing. I donated an old Forsberg jersey that was laying around in a hope chest of mine. It wasn't doing me much in a hope chest. So I hope it, brings in some more profit, but it's things like that really make some of your events very profitable because of the gifting that comes from everybody.
Yeah. Once again, this will be afterwards and we'll probably be counting the money at that point, but thank you for that wonderful gift. And then we turned around. What we did with that is we framed it, and in a really cool frame, the same guy that does Jared Bednar's frames and my frames. So, and his name's David Topping and Foothills Photography, but all of the items, and it's our live items at auctions at our events are eye popping, honestly. And, one of them that we're doing this time is 10 seats, 5 rooms, for a road trip to go watch the Avs play in Edmonton. You also go to the morning skate and before that, and you're in a catered suite. So there's all kinds of cool stuff that we add with that, but that literally cost DAWG Nation $0.
Yeah.
Just like the Forsberg jersey did. So whatever we make on those all goes to families in need. Yeah. And it's, and those are pretty big numbers when you get the right people in the right room.
Exactly. Yep. You've got a lot of people that have supported you for a really long time. And we'll include some of those. I'm a firm believer in taking care of those that take care of you. Right. And so, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to list a lot of those people that have supported DAWG Nation. And if you get the opportunity to support their business in some way, I would greatly appreciate it. And I know it's something that would just fall into that same bucket of taking care of others. So, I want to go over a couple of ways that, first off, we're going to follow this up. I'm going to broadcast this again after the golf tournament, but as a follow-up, I'll add on to the podcast and let everybody know how much money was raised and who we gave it to. And then what I would really encourage people is once you hear those numbers and once you hear who the recipient is this year, I know everybody's going to want to participate in some way, shape, or form. So a couple ways to do that. One is I will list the website for DAWG Nation below. People can click on that and there's a way that they can donate right on that website, right? If you just wanted to do a straight donation.
Right.
Secondly, you have many other events that are through the year. There's a comedy night. You're having a DU night. Do you know when the DU night is?
Yeah, it's going to be November 22nd. DU's playing Arizona State, who just moved into the NCHC, the same conference of CU and CC and DU. And but that's going to be a really special night. We were able to, through the folks at DU, extend the intermission through the NCAA. And what we're going to do is a 3-man shootout. And it's the Dogs against the U.S. Paralympic team.
Oh, that's going to be so much fun.
And so it's 3, Declan Farmer, Malik Jones, and Jerry Duvall from the U.S. national team, all in sleds. And myself, Milan Hayduk, and Charlie Host, who used to play for DU, going, and those will be the 3 each. And then we're going to follow that up with two kids. One that is a cancer survivor, Porter Johnson, and then he will go against a little boy that was born without legs, and it's going to play and take his in a sled as well.
Awesome.
So it's going to be a really special day, and we have a surprise goalie we're going to use for that as well.
Nice.
That's going to be neat.
Well, I will put some information in the text below if you want to be part of that DU night. I will be in Arizona, so I unfortunately am going to miss it. But so we have the DU game. You have a comedy night that you usually do, right?
Yeah. That's not till March, and that one's that one sells out. Well, every time, just like every single thing we do. But it's at the DTC version of Comedy Works, and holds about 500 people. And we rim that, and we get really the top comics locally. Last year we had Josh Blue, and most people that know Denver area comics are going to know Josh Blue. And this year we're shooting really for the stars on our talent on this, and we're not sure if we're going to be able to pull it off. But that's another easy one to rub shoulders with folks, because a lot of the Avs go to that one.
Yeah, it's a great organization. I'm super blessed and honored to be a part of it. There's going to be more text below today's podcast than there usually is, so I encourage everybody to just take a couple minutes after you get done listening to the podcast and spend some time kind of going through everything that I kind of put in there. But we talked about kind of donating, maybe coming to the event. I'd also encourage business owners that are out there. We talked about how some of the players donate every time they score. They donate something when they score. In the mortgage business, we're going to be, my business is going to be donating per loan that we fund. And so if you own a pizza place, maybe you can come up with a figure that you could support by donating something for every pizza that you sell. Or, you have a Midas tire place. Maybe you do every oil change. We'd really be excited to partner up with any new businesses out there that think that they could donate something to us, even in that capacity. So there's lots of ways to support DAWG Nation. And I know that this is going to be something, we kind of joked about it when we had coffee, but, maybe in, 15 years from now, and we sit back and look at it and think about how we did a podcast back in 2024 and look back at it and see how it's grown. So I'm super excited to be a part of it. Thank you for bringing me into your world. Thank you for what you're doing for those that are in need, that are tied somehow to the hockey community. And let's just be straight. We do get support from the Rockies. We do get some support from the other teams.
Right, we really do. Within
the Denver metro area. So I know we talk a lot about hockey. But Charlie Blackman's a big supporter of what is going on at DAWG Nation, and so we're blessed to be able to have as many people as we do, but there's lots of room for more. So I appreciate it, Marty. Closing comments?
No, I think you nailed a lot of stuff. I think the really big thing here is it's amazing what can happen when a community backs something, because we don't get $1 million from one person.
Right.
And it's literally all the way down to $5 donations. And we'll see them. It's pretty special to me when we're raising money for a certain person, and I'll see a former recipient make a donation, and I know they're in college, or I know they're between jobs or whatever, and yet I still see their name there for maybe it's $10 or whatever. But in reality, it's amazing when all of those get added together, then you're handing a check away for 10,000, 20,000, even more sometimes. And it's not because of one person writing that check. It's because of literally hundreds all pooling together and working together for a common cause. Yeah.
I say this many times during our podcast, and the people that know me very well say, we're greater together. And I'm a firm believer of community, and that we get one shot at doing this so-called life. And we need to try to help each other and take care of one another, or we just don't know where we'll be. So I greatly appreciate you coming in today. And I will list your information also in the text below. If anybody has any questions, comments, reach out to either Marty or myself. And I mean, since I'm fairly new, I will probably reach out to Marty anyway. So, but yeah, looking forward to the upcoming events. And I am so excited that we have hockey at the end of September.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Hockey's Avs are starting some preseason games the very last couple days of September. Regular season opens. First home game of the season for the Avs is October 12th, I believe. And so we're excited for the 24-25 season and want to, and give our excitement out to the CC and DU guys too, and hope they have a great 24-25 season and the Eagles and just everybody. Yeah. So I don't want to leave anybody out. So thanks again for stopping by. I will see you on Monday, but for everybody else, keep an eye out for Marty. He's at a lot of Avs games. Come up and say hi. Tell him that you heard him on the podcast. And we'll just continue to keep pumping up DAWG Nation.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Bye.